Hello YouTube, welcome to Dave Green's Street View Show. My guest today is Masud Milas, comedian and co-host of the Late Breakfast Show on Soho Radio. He's also regular MC at Angel Comedy Club. How you doing, Masud?
I'm good. How are you?
Good, man.
Good.
Thanks for coming around my house to look at my computer.
It's great. That's listen. It reminds me of high school.
Is that what you did?
Well, yeah. There's a lot of. We used to go around to people's places and like just play on their laptops. Well, no, not laptops. My friends had better computers than me. So this was back before Macs were cool. So they had PCs so they could actually play games on them. So we just go to their house and be like, and I just watch them play video games. Yeah. Oh, back in the day.
Well, today you're just going to watch me click
around. It's like
but you'll be very involved because
I'll be able to go.
Your life, right?
Go get the ammo. It's over there. Just
yeah. If only we could combine this with a shoot 'em up, that would be amazing.
Oh man, how great would that be?
You could go like, that's where I went to school, and I'm like, get the guns. Actually, that's a bit dark. But so where did you? So Hong Kong.
Hong Kong is where I grew up. Yeah. So it's not a usual place for most people to grow up. It's a very weird kind of town. Have you ever been to Hong Kong?
I've never been to Hong Kong.
Never? Oh, you should go.
But now's our chance.
Now's our chance. Here we go.
Here we go. It's probably the same, right?
It's pretty much exactly the same.
I was thinking about going, but there's no point.
Yeah,
just looking on
we're here
Google
now.
Street View. Right. So this is it, right?
This is the ferry pier. So this is
a
Lamma
lot of
Island.
bikes. First thing I noticed is the bikes.
Loads of bikes. So this is everyone who goes to work will ride their bike to the ferry pier and then chain it up on here. This is new. We didn't have recycling when I was growing up. There were no recycling bins. Yeah, so now we've got all this glass.
What
metals,
does this say? Glass, plastics,
metals only.
It says it in English.
It says it
well.
in English.
I'm pretending I know.
No,
what
you
that
know
says.
Cantonese.
Oh, it's plastics. Yeah, that'll be
that's
plastics.
Yeah,
probably.
So I remember. Oh man, I chained my bike up here once and
recycling. Interesting. Right. Is that? Well, you're really advanced.
Yeah,
recycling jizz as
you
well.
Gotta. Yeah, well, it's got to be done. You know, you don't want to just leave it in the sea. That's just horrific. You'd come off the ferry. Oh, yeah, so you come off. Oh, that's like a fast ferry. So there's like two types of ferry. There's the fast ferry and the slow ferry.
What's the name of this island as well?
This is Lamma Island.
Lamma Island.
Yeah. Those railings are new as well. We didn't have the railings when we were growing up. That was just bare. So you could literally just fall off into the sea.
And where's this ferry going to and from?
So this goes to Hong Kong Island.
All right.
I think one of them, actually there's two. I think one of them goes to and from Soho, which is the other side of the island.
So we're on an island like off the mainland?
Off the mainland.
Okay.
And so Soho is like the other side, and you can catch it takes like 20 minutes to catch a ferry to come round, or at least it did when I was a kid. And then there's the ones that go to Hong Kong Island. And then there was one, if we turn back to the ferry pier.
This way?
Yeah. So off here, there was this boat that used to deliver, like, I guess it was to the butcher, it was like some of the essentials. So things like a whole pig and all sorts of meat and stuff. And we'd catch that boat to school because it was cheaper and sort of faster. Because this boat goes to Central.
You caught a meat boat to school?
Yeah, essentially, yeah. So like, you know,
when you worried that they'd like sell you as meat.
Well, there was a chance.
Here's a whole pig and here's a whole school
kid. Here's a child as well. I'll do you a good deal. So what happened was it was a boat. So this boat goes to Central, which is, I guess, the sort of like Central London would be to Central.
There you go. There's a map.
Oh, here's a map. This is a map of Lamma Island. So we're here-ish. No, we're here.
Up here, yeah.
And so the boat goes to Central, and then what'll happen is you go from Central, we catch a bus, and we catch a bus to school. But this other bus went straight to, like, I guess essentially somewhere midway between the two. So we'd catch that ferry and then jump on a bus from there and then go into school from there for the meat boat.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was kind of the deal. And these bikes, so you'd ride your bike here. I remember once I had a bike chained up here, and someone, I don't know how it happened, but essentially someone cut the cord or cut the bike chain that locked it up and chucked it into the sea. So when there's low tide, you can see like just a graveyard of all of these like old bikes that they might have been dredged up now by
vandals.
No idea. Yeah.
So how did you? How come your folks ended up in Hong Kong?
Well,
your mum's from Kenya,
my mom's from
right?
Kenya. My dad's from Peterborough. I think he ended up in Hong Kong because that's where he did a lot of his work. So he works in corporate filmmaking.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot of business there for him. But my mum, I have no idea. I've asked her, and she just is.
Oh, so they met.
They met in Hong Kong. Yeah,
really?
yeah.
And your mum won't tell you why she was there.
I have no idea why she's there. No idea. She could be a spy. It could be anything. It could be like that. I've been watching that TV show, The Americans, lately. It's like she could just be like some sort of national spy for Kenya. Who knows?
And how did they meet?
Again, no
idea.
idea.
They won't tell you?
They won't tell me. I've asked them, and they're like, "We just met." We just met. I'm like, what do you mean you just met? People don't just meet.
It's like walk by each other on
Yeah,
the
they're
street.
like, yes, this is it. You and me. It's kind of, it's one of those things where I'm like, but everyone else knows how they met. And they're like, well, we're not everyone else. I'm like, okay, fine. That's a good argument, I guess. Yeah, like we're just.
It's interesting they won't tell you.
They won't. I think there's something up. I think there's something kind of cagey maybe there. Maybe they're like, I don't know. It might have even been just a political thing because obviously in the 80s, late 70s, early 80s, white guy, black woman. You know, it wasn't a commonplace.
Yeah.
So maybe it was like they're still kind of like, who knows?
And how did people react to that in Hong Kong? Because obviously they are both outsiders.
Well,
anyway,
Lamma is interesting because Lamma Island is like a kind of collection of people like that. So like Lamma is very, very multicultural itself. I mean, Hong Kong is as well, but Lamma specifically is like there's a lot of expats living there.
Really? Okay.
It's quite, I think it's because it's cheap. But yeah, it's just full of like expats and loads of people who, a couple drug dealers, that kind of thing. But yeah, not big time drug dealers, you know, just a little bit of. I'm not sure how legal it is me telling people this.
As in like what, like big organized crime guys?
No. I think a lot of that stuff happens in Hong Kong, like on Hong Kong Island. And when it did, they used to have this huge pile of sand here where they would make concrete. It was like a concrete mixer that would just like be constantly turning all the time. They'd all that stuff used to happen a lot, at least to my knowledge, was in a place called the Kowloon Walled City, which is like a kind of hive of not so much. Oh man, this shop. We used to buy these little fishing things here. So we'd buy these little, like, you know, like a kite, like what you'd hold a kite with, like a kind of kite, like kind of handle.
Oh yeah.
So they get a whole bunch of those and they just wrap fishing wire around it and a hook, and you'd buy the bait from this.
Is that like to catch crabs and stuff?
Well, we'd catch like crabs and like poisonous fish, and just all sorts. Yeah, that was the bait. That's the bait fridge. Yeah, it is because it's covered. Oh, wow. Yeah, there we go. That's nuts. And that's all the fishing gear right there. That's crazy. There they are. That's what I'm talking about. Those are the things. Those are the fishing things. Man. Oh yeah. So you'd buy that and you'd buy a bucket because they cost like, okay, Hong Kong dollar to the pound, it's like 100 Hong Kong dollars is roughly 10 pounds, or at least it was when I was a kid. So it's still roughly sitting around that. So that was like, those were like, I don't know, 10p, 20p. So they'd like, you'd buy them and then just chuck them when you're done with them. We were very wasteful children. I mean, remember, this was the 90s. Nobody cared about recycling.
Do you remember this guy? Was
he...
Imagine that was the same guy.
It could be the same. I hope it's the same guy. I would be angry if it wasn't. I'd be like, what happened? Who'd you give the store
deep
to?
In concentration.
Oh, if we turn around as well, around to behind the shop. Yeah, a lot of shops in Hong Kong have this area where I love this guy. He's like, whoa, what's going on? This area where people will buy beers and then
just hang out. And that's at what, like old guys?
A lot of old guys. A lot of old. It's our equivalent of the Stoop in New York.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's just a lot of old Chinese guys.
I think that's something that we do really badly in this country.
Yeah.
I mean, the pub is a weather thing, basically, isn't it? The pub.
That's what it is. Yeah.
That's the only old, because every country has a version of it where the old guys go to just hang out.
Yeah, and just moan about how bad.
But here it's the pub, but it's like there's no option to do it.
There's no outside option. That's what I kind of miss. It's like I like that. There's something because they become somewhat of characters around town. You know, you see them, you're like, oh, those are the guys. Those are the old guys. You know, and occasionally, if you're a kid, sometimes like maybe one of your parents would be drinking there just as they're in passing, right? And you'd kind of get introduced to them somehow, and then you'd kind of get known amongst these weird old guys. Yeah. You know, and then they just become. It's what's interesting about Lamma is like the community of it. It's so small and quite tight knit that everyone literally knows everyone. It's like a village in the UK, but with slightly better weather, essentially, and more Chinese people.
Wow.
So it's nuts.
So it's quite a tight-knit kind of community then.
Yeah, like a lot of people, I seem to remember a lot of people knowing each other and knowing, and you see these towers here. So this is the coal power station that powers Lamma. I think it still powers Hong Kong and a little bit of Kowloon. But yeah, it's a huge coal power. We can go there in a bit if you want. But yeah, it's nuts. There's like there's a beach by it, which we used to go to as kids.
Can we walk there? Maybe we
could walk there, totally.
Let's try and click there. So what else did you spend your time doing then, apart from catching crabs?
Cycle around a lot when we were kids. Cycle around, we were like the only group of kids on the island, really. Of like, there was us and there was some Chinese kids, but there was no one else outside of that, it was just, so that's the kind of interesting village part of it. It's like
You were the only group of kids on the island?
somewhat, yeah. There were some Chinese kids as well, but like maybe there's like 20 of us in total, at least that to my knowledge, that we hung out with.
There's 20
Yeah,
that you
something
hung
like-
out with, not on the whole island?
Not at any one time. I think within that time it would have been like anywhere from potentially 7 or 8, and then it kind of extended as I grew older. But yeah, it was something ridiculous like that. Yeah, it was very strange.
Oh my God. And were they Chinese kids, or were they kids from
Some
everywhere?
of them were Chinese kids, and then some of them were the public toilet over there.
This thing?
Oh no, I wish.
Weird metal.
That's just a metal box. No, this thing here is the public.
Oh, they can go in.
Yeah. Oh,
Go into the...
can we go into the public? Oh no,
This is mental.
This is the
Oh, no,
stairs.
it's
Oh,
not.
no. That would be.
I don't know why I got so excited about
going into a.
Welcome to Dave Green's Toilet Show. Looking at
That's the spin-off of
toilets
this
all
show.
all over the world.
This guy looking unhappy that he's getting
He's not
snapped.
that blurred out.
Oh, this little beach thing. I got a story about this little beach. So we just run around basically terrorizing the area. So we got an open sewer there that just comes down. When we were kids, me and a friend of mine, this is a lot cleaner than it used to be. People just used to dump garbage on this beach. And once we were walking home from school, so we came off the ferry, walking home from school, and there was a fire extinguisher on the beach. So me and my friend jumped down and basically set off the fire extinguisher into a crowd of people that were coming off the ferry. So like we just stood there, we just went psh, and just hit a whole bunch of people with this fire. It was pretty good
So
range.
were you like a naughty kid?
We were pretty naughty kids. We were kind
I
of.
can't imagine you being naughty.
I when looking back, I'm like, yeah, we're pretty. I was very easily influenced.
All right.
Yeah. So this is one of the.
So there's other kids leading you astray.
Oh yeah, this restaurant here is a top Chinese restaurant here. Real good. The sampan.
This thing.
Oh yeah. This is great. I always remember it being bigger, but then again, I was a kid, so. But yeah, the sampan restaurant is like legendary. It's real good. Yeah, we were naughty as hell, man. We just like so you'd have Chinese New Year come around, right? And these streets you see here would just be lined with red firecracker paper. So because obviously it's Hong Kong, it's China. There was this old lady. I wonder if we could find her house actually. That used to sell us the firecrackers, and so we'd just get them, or in the streets amongst the lined, all of the leftover paper. Some of the firecrackers wouldn't explode. So what you'd have this long set of, like in a bunch of firecrackers, of one main fuse, and then they're all tied into that one fuse. And the big green fuse, you'd light it, and they would all pop off as it went up, because they'd all be keyed off. But sometimes some would just fall off, and we'd dig through the paper, and then we'd find them, and then we'd go and just blow shit up. That's what we did. We just go around blowing stuff up. I think the breaking point, though, was once when I thought was going to be a great idea, so I stuck a firecracker in some dog shit, and I was like, this is going to be great.
That does sound like a great idea.
Exactly. You're like, this is going to be the greatest thing. And then it happened, and it exploded, and we laughed. And then there was like a hint of sadness. We're like, that's it. We've achieved everything we can achieve now.
I thought you were going to just say you're covered in shit.
We were covered in shit. we were. And that's why we were laughing. Yeah. And then we're like, oh, it's what I imagine people feel when they've won the lottery. It's like, but now what? What's next? what can I do now?
Where are you going to go from there?
Where do we, what's after that? Oh, there's a little police box around here somewhere. Oh no, we've gone a little too far.
Who's this? This guy's following us around.
This guy.
I'm not sure about this guy.
We've gone the police office, the police box. There's this little police box just here, which is
this thing.
Yeah, this little box there, and that was where the sort of police would hang out. In there, I got taken in there once because
really?
we were.
So you're covered in dog shit.
We were covered in dog shit. They're like, listen, your son is covered in dog. Can you come down and pick him up, please? And it wasn't. I don't think it was particularly bad. It was either for shoplifting or something else. It might have been for shoplifting actually. We got caught shoplifting, and I'll show you the shop that we did it at.
Sure, I don't want you to incriminate yourself.
Oh, really? Oh, no, I'm pretty sure the statute of limitations is passed on that one. They're not going to...
Where do we go?
They're not going to come find me. This restaurant was really weird. They always had this really loud extractor fan. Anyway, we'll turn around. This is a shame. This used to be a really nice Indian restaurant.
Down here, yeah?
Just down here. They used to sell fish bowls out here as well on a little street
This is so fun coming along here.
This is nuts, man. A lot of real estate places popped up. I've just noticed. Oh, this is a shop we used to go down to as kids. Oh, we can't see any of the storekeepers. But yeah, this is the kind of setup. Kind of like here, when they have the fruits out on the front. Although I remember when I was younger, these were pulled out more, and you'd have like a little pathway in through there. And that's the counter where someone would sit. Oh, yeah.
Do you know her?
No, I think she's... Oh, I know that bread, though. Man. That's a staple bread in the Hong Kong household. And there's the crustless version. There's the crust version. The green one's the crustless version.
So what did you eat at home there?
So my mum would cook some sometimes she'd cook a traditional Kenyan stuff. So it was a lot of stews. And she'd every year in the supermarket so sometimes we'd shop here. Sometimes we'd go over to Hong Kong Island to like the big supermarket. And every year, around this time of year actually, they'd sell something called taro, which is a root vegetable. You've probably heard of it. It's a root vegetable. It's very popular in New Zealand actually because it just grows there. She'd cook it, and it's disgusting. It's I hate it. It's so gross. Every year she'd cook it, and she'd force me and my sister to eat it. She'd be like, "It's good for you. It's good for you." And she'd mash it up, and it just tastes vile. And I'm like, "Well, why? Why are you torturing us? Every year you're doing this to us." But she'd cook a lot of meat-based dishes. Yeah, and Lamma Island's pretty good for like getting pretty nice food. Like you can get, or we'd go to the Sampan or the restaurant just behind this place. Not this one. This one B&B, which is a barbecue place. Beer and Babble seems like a new way of naming it, but basically they had this in the back of the restaurant. They have this like open, I guess, like an open, not fire, but yeah, like basically where they just cook the meat. It's just real good. It's real nice. Yeah, that was a top place. This is new. I've never. Oh no, that's a Japanese place. I remember that as we left. Yeah.
So what age did you leave here?
When I was about 13, 14.
Right.
Oh, these drive around all over. You see how wide these streets are, right? They're so narrow. These drive through the streets. They're like these little village vehicles. That's what the VV stands for. And when I was a kid, I always wanted to drive one. And then when I drove,
that does look really fun.
I'm not sure about the dildo gear shift, but
oh yeah,
yeah. They're little dump trucks. They can dump. The back goes up. And they dump stuff out.
Just passengers, just like.
Oh yeah, get out of here.
Ejector seat.
Yeah, these drive through all the streets and stuff.
Wow, this is cool.
Crazy maneuverable. But yeah. And these are what we would call shortcuts as kids when you go through the back streets, but I don't know if you can. I don't think you can go through them. No, you can't.
No, it won't let us. Look at this guy. Everyone's taking pictures.
It's really weird because I don't know if this is in a Google car or if it's a guy with a stick.
Yeah, it's probably a guy. That's probably why.
Yeah, everyone's like, ooh.
Yeah, he probably sticks out.
Because there's no way it's a little car.
Yeah, you're right. I think they have like helmets or something with different cameras on them.
Oh, that pizza place. This is a hell of a good noodle place as well. Yeah, there's a little pizza place there. Oh, we're coming up to my dad's house, actually, where he used to live when my parents...
This way?
Yeah. So if we go...
So your parents split up.
My parents split up.
Here.
We turn right, and... Oh, we might have to go back ever so slightly. So we'll turn around just a touch, all the way, and stand here. Yeah, so my dad lived up... Oh, we might have to go a step further. Just one further. There we go. He lived up in that little house up there, yeah. That used to be an ice cream place there. Oh, this is so sad. What is this place now? Is this what's this? Oh no, that used to be the best Indian restaurant I'd ever eaten in my life. Then again, I was probably too young to understand what good food was. But that was the best Indian food place. So good.
That was the place.
So we've jumped.
Yeah, sometimes you jump weird places. So your dad was in corporate video, and what did your mum do?
She I guess she just looked after us at home.
Yeah.
That was her deal. Oh, we could go. Oh, let's take a little detour. Let's go. Oh, is that still? Yeah, that's a Thai food place. It's actually quite good. They used to do the best. This is so weird. They used to do potato top pies there, and they were so good. They were the best potato top pies I'd had. I think the people who run it still run it. That's great.
Free drinking water
will be available. It's not available now. It will be available on the site.
Not meaning to boast, guys, but we have got tap water.
We got tap water here.
All the mud cons. So it looks like there's lots of tourists, right?
Yeah, it's a very, very popular tourist area. Like loads of people go to it because of the beaches, which we'll we'll get down
So
to.
we're heading. Am I heading towards the power station?
We're heading towards the
Vaguely.
turn to the right. This is the football pitch we used to play at as kids. We'd ride our bikes in there and stuff. Concrete football pitch. Classic.
Nice.
Yeah, and then there was a playground behind that, and that, where those sand things are, those dunes, used to just be a dump, like an actual garbage dump. They used to just dump garbage there, and a boat would come and take it away. Yeah, that was...
More old dudes.
More stoop.
Chilling out.
Just chilling on the stoop.
Wow, they've got shades and everything.
Oh, yeah. The old Chinese dudes are all about
guys.
the shades. This way... we can go to the beach this way, but it'll take... Do you
want to go to the beach or the power station?
Well, there's a beach by the power station.
Let's walk this way and
Let's go this way. See. Oh, I can show you where the old lady sold us the firecrackers. If we are able to go here. Oh no, that's her. It was somewhere in this.
No, let's go in
snap!
there, kind of. Oh no,
it was somewhere
as far as it goes.
in this kind of area.
All right, so that's probably her laundry.
She'd come out. So one of us would. It is a guy
that's
with a
the guy
tripod.
there.
He's got a tripod. That's what it is. Oh, it's got a bubble on it. So what would happen was we'd go there, and one of our Chinese friends would knock on the door, and she'd come out. This down here was the firecracker incident. It was actually down this way here. It's just around the corner there.
We can't do it. Let me go there.
We're yeah. They.
Do you want to jump to the power station?
Let's jump to the power station, and then from there we can go back to my house because we lived quite close to the power station.
So, where would it be?
So let's zoom out a touch on this little guy.
You can only go where the blue lines are.
Oh, really? Okay. So the power station is in this area here, I think. Yeah.
If I went there, do you think it would take us?
Oh, wait. Yeah. That'll take us to... Oh, no, this is Ye Beach. So this is the nicer beach of the two. But the power station's back this way.
Station. That's it.
We're at the gates of the power station.
Is that still a functioning power station?
Yeah, still a functioning coal power station. The big old piles of coal. Just outside, like... If we can get to the... I reckon if we can get to the power station beach, we'll be able to turn around and look over at the power station.
So how do we do that?
So let's move us just a touch. Is that Ye? Let's pull out, just zoom out a little bit, and then move across just a bit. Oh no, that's Ye. This is the power station beach. So let's go on. There were 2 360 photos there, weren't there?
Down here?
Yeah. Oops, sorry.
This one?
Yeah. See if that one will give us a decent view of the... So if we turn around... Yeah, that's it. That's the view.
There you go.
So yeah, it's all still going. This is a beach we used to go to. They used to host these beach parties there. These sort of hippies would host these huge beach parties. And I remember once I came down here, they're hosting a beach party, and there was like a mattress there. I ended up falling asleep on this mattress for like an hour. And I woke up, and I went back home, and somebody thought I'd stolen their passport. And they like followed us. They're like, "Where's my passport?" I'm like, "I don't know what you're talking about," because like I just moved their bag from somewhere, and they were like convinced that I'd stolen their passport. They're like, "I know your mom.
If you stole someone's passport, you'd just go to sleep on a mattress.
Yeah, that's how I would do it. That's the best method. Is this the mattress sleep, and then you take the mattress. You take the passport. So that's the power station beach. There used to be this huge rock formation there. That's all gone. Oh, I reckon if we turn left slightly. Oh no, that's all gone too. Oh well. Yeah, so this was one of the kind of like lesser known beaches. Well, not lesser known, but it's like one of the kind of nicer, more quiet beaches. And then there's Ye Beach, which is the like super popular one that all the Chinese tourists go down. In fact, we could walk to it from here, I think.
Yeah?
Yeah, I reckon.
We're in a photo now. Let me...
Where's the... Oh, yeah. So we'll get on the blue line. And we'll have to turn around.
This way?
This way, yeah. This is the way. Yeah, that's it. And then we go... Yeah, up through here. So we're now parallel to Power Station Beach. And there used to be this really weird pathway that would go down there. And they'd put these barriers in, but they're not very well constructed. So like every 6 months when it would rain, the concrete would like erode. And then they'd fall into like, again, another open sewer. So every 6 months they had to replace these really crappy railings. More stoops. Oh, I reckon we could.
This is an incredible place to grow up.
This was nuts, man. We'd always ride our bikes along here. Oh yeah, well we can go up the little hill. Oh, and then when we discovered drinking, we'd come here and drink when we were kids.
What kind of age was that?
About 12. We were drinking were they KGBs? KGBs are the one with the that really nice like lemon flavor or whatever, or hooch.
Oh, hooch, yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice to know the drinks were exactly the same.
Oh yeah. What did you drink when you guys were growing? Was it the same stuff?
Well, here inside just cider actually.
Yeah. Because
actually, I don't think I did drink hooch, but I remember that was like always in the news, like Alco Pops. Thinking about it, I don't know anyone who actually drunk it.
It's weird because like it was obviously like, oh no, Alco Pops. Really
that
bad.
Was what adults were scared.
Yeah.
We were drinking. We were just on straight vodka.
Yeah, we didn't bother with the hooch. No, what are you talking about? Straight up vodka central. So this is if we turn right, maybe. Oh no, we're coming up to it. I think. Yeah, if we turn right here, then we'll be on the path to walk to the. I think it's here, or have we missed it? Oh, I think we've gone further up.
Is there a turnoff?
I think this is the turnoff.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, this is the turnoff.
Oh, sweet.
And then I think there's another police station up here, up those steps. This is like the main police station. Yeah, this is it.
The main hut.
Yeah. That's it. That's the main.
That's the main police station.
Yeah, the main. That's
just
like
that little hut.
So yeah, it's like if you're a kid just stealing a few things, then you get taken to the one near the ferry pier. But if you done wrong, they take you up the stairs.
Wow. See if we can read any of these. No.
It's a bunch of billboards. Oh, and there's the pigeon restaurant coming up. Is it down?
As in.
Yeah, you eat
can
pigeons.
Yeah.
That's surprisingly tasty pigeon.
Actually, what am I talking about? I've eaten pigeon.
Where did you have pigeon?
In London.
Oh, whereabouts? Like in a.
Some is like a hotel, like a fancy hotel.
Oh yeah,
it's quite nice actually.
Yeah, I quite like it.
It's
nice.
wood pigeon though, isn't it? It's not like.
Yeah, it's not street. It's not London pigeon. They're definitely. That's
what you imagine though in your head.
Yeah, you think like they're just like.
Yeah, that's quite nice.
They just nab them and then.
It's gamey.
Yeah. Oh yeah, so we're heading down to the super popular beach. This is it.
Oh shit!
Amongst the weird glitches.
Oh, hang on.
Yeah, this is how I remember. There was a lot of forest just coming out of the.
Yeah, lots of.
Yeah,
do you remember the pixels? Yeah.
Yeah, oh yeah, big time. Oh yeah, this is where you buy all
more of your treats.
Here's more your little street. Buy some flip flops or a little beach mat.
So do you spend you spend a lot of time hanging out on the beach, right?
Yeah, quite a bit when we were younger. Yeah, I remember it was pretty tricky. I got caught up. It was really wavy one day, and I got caught up in the waves, and they had to call out a lifeguard because it was like properly. I was like, ugh. I got caught into the waves and sort of drowning type thing, and then my friend at the time was like, "Guy, you're so lame." I'm like, "So lame? I nearly drowned." What the hell are you talking about? Yeah, he's like, ugh. So yeah, he's an interesting guy.
You're so lame.
You're so lame. Nearly drowning and getting help. What a loser.
So you preferred it
if I
died with some
exactly.
dignity.
Yeah, be a man.
My friend's dead, but at least he wasn't a loser.
Exactly. Oh yeah, and there's a little changing room thing they built there, up here.
I was thinking because to someone that didn't grow up near the beach, it always seems like it's like a holiday thing, right? And it's a big thing going to the beach. But if you grow up near it, does it not lose its novelty? It's just like going to the park or something.
Yeah, it's that thing where you kind of. You'd go so when I was really young, my dad and I would go as kids, like as a sort of treat. And then, yeah, it sort of became a somewhat staple thing that you just do. And I guess, yeah, losing it sort of does. But then at the same time, because you haven't had it any other way, you're just like, oh, it's just, yeah, like you said, it's like, oh, it's just the park. It's just the thing that we do. Whereas like now, I think I do miss the beach a bit more. I'm like, oh man, I'm so lucky. Well, this is the way to the other side of the island, Sakuwan. You keep going up here. I did a marathon here. Well, not a marathon, but I did this guy who was training to run, and he's like, you should come running with us. I was about 10 or 11. It's Power Station again. This guy. He's a staple. He's a good
reading.
Oh,
just buying a microwave.
On the go. This is Hong Kong. I think he's going to Amazon Prime
does it like a microwave.
so he can he can have it on return when he gets back. So yeah, he ran up this whole thing. We ran up. There's like a little pagoda deal at the top of the hill. So we ran up there. Me with no training, and this guy was like, "Yeah, let's do a run." And I went up there. I was like, "Why? Why did I agree to do this? This is horrible." But yeah, we'd walk along here. So it takes like, is it an hour? An hour to walk over to. Probably would take less than that now because we're bigger. But when we were kids, yeah, we'd cycle over.
This is so nice.
Yeah, I remember all this. And then some of this wasn't as barriered as we remember it. But yeah, it was, you'd ride across. Then we'd go and eat like a huge plate of fried rice at this seafood place. And then just cycle back. And that was like a day. We just do that for one day. Just like, yeah, let's just go cycling.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Oh, man. Yeah, that's right. I reckon you could go all the way to Saku 1 through this. Oh, and then sometimes
Did you spend a lot of time like in wildlife like this?
Yeah, quite a bit. Like there's a lot of this is the other thing as well. There's a lot of like huge weird insects. So a lot of dragonflies, a lot of forest spiders. I don't know if that's the technical term for them, but like they're just huge spiders, like as big as your hand, huge.
Really?
And yeah, they were terrifying. Like sometimes you'd have them in your house. What's that say? Okay.
All right.
Classic Cantonese
Positive
graffiti.
graffiti.
Yeah, just like, yes.
It's all right.
Everything's A-okay. Yeah, that's one of my favorite things is any sort of Chinese graffiti or anything like that. It'll like kind of misspell or misphrase something.
Yeah.
Be like, fuck the off. You're like, what does that mean? You're like, that's meaningless.
I remember seeing that in, I think, Turkey or something. It was a bumper sticker saying, "I like to life." I thought that was great.
That's amazing. I
like
love that.
to life.
I like to life. That's A-okay with me. I like to life. Yeah, we ran up here. This is nuts.
What's this guy looking at?
Oh, this is a memorial. Can we read it? Section of the family trail was reconstructed by the island's district office. Okay, using funds donated by Hong Kong Electric. Lamma Fund was completed in 1996. Oh, yeah.
I feel like we're in an episode of Lost.
That's,
What's it called? The Dharma Foundation.
the Dharma. To be fair, Lamma Island was very much like the island in Lost, in that there's a lot of people there. You're like, how did you end up here? This is a crazy place. There's, yeah. What were you saying?
What's it like, growing up on a... Because this is an island separated from the mainland, right?
Yeah.
And did you feel...
It felt very...
Is there certain types of people who live on different islands? Like what do they say about the Lamma Island people?
Well, yeah, the Lamma Island people were kind of looked at as hippies a little bit, and kind of the... I don't know. I guess the kind of like... What's the word I'm looking for? I guess reprobates is a little too strong, but that kind of thing of like the kind of,
Slightly
the outlaws.
Bohemian.
Yeah.
All right.
The kind of outlaws, bohemians types. Yeah, I'd say definitely more bohemian. It was definitely more free-flowing and kind of everyone was a bit more relaxed. And then you had Discovery Bay, which was more developed. You had cars on there, and that was sort of, I guess, the richer kind of island, or kids who had a bit more money would live there. Then you had Lantau Island, which was the place...
Hello!
That you know what I love about that? That took a considerable amount of time to do. Like, in not so much that...
What's your tag? Hello?
Hello. Yeah. Oh, hello's been here. All right.
This is my colleague, okay.
Okay. Hello and okay.
What are you saying? So there's the different islands.
And then there's Lantau, which was the kind of... that has the big Buddha, the big posing Buddha on it. And that one was kind of a bit more... I don't know, I didn't really know too much about people on Lantau. They were sort of, I guess, anywhere between Hong Kong and... A lot of Russian, some Cyrillic going on here. What's happening? What is this? Ivanhoe? What?
Ivanhoe.
What is this? I'm surprised there's a lot less. There's a lot less drawings of conchs. I'm surprised at that. I would have thought that would have been rife.
Classy.
Yeah, but I wonder if we can see any. No, it looks like they've kind of. As a kid, maybe it's my mind as a kid, but I seem to remember the coal piles being huge. But yeah, so different islands has a kind of different, relegated to kind of a different group. But yeah, this was always it's just really nice place to live. Is the pagoda up there? I can never remember. I don't know, maybe we've passed it. But yeah, that was was that the view? I totally didn't appreciate that as a child. That's insane.
It's crazy, isn't it?
Yeah. I think one of these is Lantau, I think. I'm not entirely sure. But there's some, you can see them from, there's somebody who's going to, in the comments, is going to totally just rip me apart and say that's not Lantau Island. But, well.
This is your story.
This is my story. This is your story. You tell it as you want.
So
okay?
How do you think growing up here kind of shaped you?
I think it definitely, because we grew up with so many different kids from different places, that definitely opened my eyes to kind of that kind of multicultural, idea that the world is kind of is made up of a lot of different people. And also, interestingly, because we were in Hong Kong and there's quite a lot of Chinese people there. There's that too. So it's like there's us and then there's all the Chinese people. And you would think like, oh, was there any kind of backlash? It's like, well, no, not really. We all just kind of got along. There's a Hong Kong Chinese, at least in my experience when I was growing up. And I haven't cleaned that sign since I left. In my experience, and this may be a point of contention for some people, but there's this kind of idea. I think it's changed now a lot in the last few years, but there was a time when Hong Kong Chinese and mainland Chinese people, from in a kind of class way, they were like, oh, mainland Chinese people, they're a little bit kind of lower class to a certain extent. Yeah. That's changed a lot now because China's become such a huge hub of business. But there was a time when they were like, there's even videos on YouTube actually of people have put up of mainlanders in Hong Kong just behaving poorly, just like hitting taxi cabs or pissing in the street or, just that kind of thing. And Hong Kong Chinese are like, come on now, you're making us.
So there's a bit of a divide
there. There was, at least there was. I don't know how big that divide is now, but certainly when I was growing up, there felt a kind of snubbing the mainlanders because they were kind of looked at as like, oh, right.
Did you spend much time there? Did you go to the mainland?
We did a school trip to Beijing once, which was kind of fun, and we went to the Great Wall, and I bought this little. This is the kind of classic Hong Kong China type trinkets. I bought this little Buddha kind of boy, I guess, made out of like terracotta or something, and you stand it in water. And you pour hot water on it. When you pour hot water on it, like, I don't know how it works, the science of it, but basically he pees. So he's got his pants down and he pisses out of, and that's one of the gifts I got from China, from the Great Wall. I bought that at the Great Wall. I was like, this is one of the greatest pieces of human, engineering and just a feat against all odds. It's like, oh, what do you get from the Great Wall? Got a little pissing Buddha boy, mate. There you go. That's all we got. Take that home with you. It was so worth it. So worth it.
And how did the performing start?
Well, that started in New Zealand, actually.
Which is where you live. Maybe we should go there.
Should we go to New Zealand? Yeah, let's check it out. Let's go to New Zealand.
So that's where you live next, yeah?
That's where we live next, yeah. So this is our house. So not this one. It's so this is the corner. So we'll turn this way. It's on it's on right on the corner. So let's go where that car is. And then
down here.
Yeah,
another glorious view, man.
Oh yeah.
Did you only live places with?
That was the house there, and that balcony looked out directly onto that Rangitoto. Wow. So that's Rangitoto Island.
This mountain.
There. The mountain.
Oh no, it's island thing.
That's gone cloudy.
Sorry, a second ago.
Oh, it's
Rangitoto.
Rangitoto. So I think it's an active volcano.
What part of New Zealand are we in?
This is in Auckland.
Auckland.
Specifically the North Shore. So Auckland City is across the Harbour Bridge. But if we go down here, so this is the drive I'd take down to Browns Bay. Oh, and this house is a house me and my sister always thought was like the best house in the world that you want to live in.
This thing?
Yeah, we're like, it just looked really nice.
That's pretty nice.
So we drive down. Oh, it was this house? That was the one. Oh, no, you're right. No, what? No, you're right. The first time, that was the house. So we drive down here to Browns Bay. That's right. Oh, I'll show you this great fish and chip shop down here, actually. So if you're ever in town, So we take a right here. Oh, this is where I had a car accident as well, on this very road. I got sunstrike on the car. You ever have that when you're driving? So when the windshield just like, for some reason, like the sun hits the windshield at a weird angle, and your entire windshield, you just can't see anything. Yeah. So it was was it here? Oh, it was just further on. And so what I did was I was like, I'm going to pull into some shade obviously because this is dangerous. And someone had parked their car in the shade. So I crashed right into the back of it. It was up here. A lot of these. This is a popular type of car, the utility vehicle in New Zealand. Yeah, so this was the drive down to Browns Bay, and then if you were walking, there's a little shortcut, you'd go down there, I think, a little shortcut, but I don't think we can do it.
We can jump. Do you want to go and look at the beach? Is it?
Let's go. Well, there's a beach on the way to Browns Bay, like a kind of...
So why did you move here then?
So it was my dad's idea, actually.
When you were 13,
when I was about 13. He's like, right, let's go to New Zealand because it's cheaper.
Is that because your parents divorced?
Yeah.
And you moved with your dad?
I moved with my mum and sister. So he stayed in Hong Kong.
Oh, okay.
And
So it's your dad's idea for you to go here?
Yeah. And
take him to New Zealand.
Take him to New Zealand. Are you coming? Sure. He still visits and stuff.
Yeah.
But he's still working in Hong Kong. And so, yeah, that was his idea.
Is this where your mum lives now?
So she doesn't live in that house now. She lives somewhere.
But in New Zealand?
In New Zealand, right, yeah. She still lives in Auckland. Still
and how was that for you, like, adjusting from growing up?
Oh, it was nuts, man. Like, that's a really crazy shift from...
Yeah.
It's like city to country.
Very different culture, right?
Yeah. And a lot of people still think Hong Kong's in Japan. So that was weird. It's about here. Here was where I crashed it. Yeah, so that was a real odd adjustment period. Because... And the school I went to, so you saw... We could quickly shoot to the Hong Kong school, and then we could do...
Oh, yeah.
My New Zealand school.
So let's go back in time. So that's... Hang on.
So this is
back in Hong Kong.
This is back in Hong Kong. This is West Island School. And you see, like, it's built up. It's like an up, the school is contained in two
kind of
or
looks
three
like
buildings.
a car park.
Yeah, it does. The science lab was somewhere around here, I seem to remember, on one of these floors. And yeah, you just look out onto a street. Oh, and then a cemetery on the other side. A really huge cemetery. But yeah, that was it's on the, yeah. So this was there's part of the cemetery there. It's huge.
Oh my Lord, that looks amazing.
And we'd catch the bus down here. So that the meat boat that would take us to the bus that would drop us off just outside the school would be here.
The meat boat. Did you miss the meat boats when you went to New Zealand?
I did miss the meat boat. That was a real sense of something that's like you see in Indiana.
What's wrong, Masud? You're crying. Like,
yeah,
I came to school. And
I came to school on a bus.
There's no meat.
There's no meat. There's no like a chicken in a tiny cage. Like it was like that the opening of Indiana Jones. Yeah, this is nuts, man.
So we'll look at this graveyard and you tell me what. Yeah. So what is it like going to school in Hong Kong?
Next to a graveyard.
In relation to New Zealand.
So you've got firstly the journey of the meat boat. Then you've got school. I mean, I think mixed with a lot of different kids from China and from all over the place, because a lot of expats would take their kids to these schools. And then you've got New Zealand, where it is mostly New Zealanders. And then there are some. It was when I moved over there were a few more, a lot more, I guess, diverse. But sorry, I hit the table again. But yeah, again, it was more laid out. So we can actually, if we could quickly Google search my school
in
New Zealand.
New Zealand, yeah.
Which was
called?
Long Bay College, which my sister then went to, and then there we go.
So yeah, how many brothers and sisters you have?
So I have a half brother and half sister from my dad's first marriage, and then I have my sister who's with.
We can't go on it.
We can go to the street just by it though. That little roundabout, yeah.
That'll be nearer, yeah.
Yeah, and then we'll be able to look at it. So that's it. Yeah, that's it there. So that's, and I mean, even just looking at it like this, it's like, it's all laid out flat across. You have to walk all the way to the science bay or whatever, in the art department and all that stuff. Yeah, it was just so. And I think so. I had a weird accent in Hong Kong. So in New Zealand, people are like, what is going on?
Because it's a mixture of
English, a
So
little bit of
many different
American, a
accents,
little bit
yeah,
of
yeah, yeah.
all sorts. So they were like, where are you from? What are
And I
you?
guess this area is less multicultural, right? So they
Oh,
probably...
yeah.
You spend all your time just... Even now, you probably spend a lot of your time explaining...
Oh yeah, explaining
Yeah.
explaining where I'm from, why it's all like this.
Does that piss you off? Like, do you have a... If someone says to you, where are you from? Do you have a, like...
A go-to.
Yeah.
I've
Do you know what I mean? Because it's
yeah,
quite complex.
I'd say I've streamlined the process
Yeah.
over the years.
Just
and
have it on like a card printed.
that would be a great idea. Like get like some postcard size things and just like hand them out. You know what? I think I might actually do that. And sometimes I kind of play it up a little bit. So if somebody asks me how long I've been in the UK, every time, each year that I think, so each additional year, I kind of throw like, wow, has it been that long? Just to kind of give me something to get out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, like every now and again, when I do explain it, sometimes something will spark off and I'll remember something, or usually the conversation will drive to like, oh, so what about, you know, or someone has said they've been to Hong Kong and be like, oh, I've been to Hong Kong, I went to this place, and I'm like, oh, cool. And then I can kind of. So sometimes there's something really nice about you'll meet a common ground, or somebody will know someone who went to my high school. I'll be like, what? Like I met somebody about 6 months ago who name dropped somebody who went to my high school. I was like, okay, wow, what? And it just blew my mind. So yeah, every now and again there'll be something that's kind of you'll get out of it, and then you'll, you know, and then sometimes people will be like, oh, so what about Lamma Island? Growing up there, and some people know. I met somebody who did I meet somebody recently who knew somebody in Lamma Island, and I was like, that's too much. That's too much for me, man. I can't even. Yeah, that's nuts. And some of my friends from Hong Kong have moved here now to the UK, so we go through. We just meet up and
everyone
drink.
ends
and,
up in London eventually.
yeah, it always seems to be the.
So they were confused by you, though, is the point.
A lot, yeah, and a lot of explaining. When I first went to school, yeah, like I sort of. I mean, when you were growing up, did you move around a lot yourself?
Not at all.
No.
I grew up in Twickenham, stayed in Twickenham.
Twickenham represents.
I've only ever lived in like 4 houses.
Whoa! I lived in.
Hang on, 1. Yeah.
What?
That is an unbelievably low number.
I lived in 5 in New Zealand alone.
Yeah,
I think. Yeah, at least. Wait. That's counting. That's counting flat sharing. Yeah, at least 5. Yeah, 3 flat sharing. No, 6. 3 flat sharing. 3 with my mom and sister. Whoa, that's nuts.
That is insane, isn't it? But I've looked at about 62 houses on here.
62
on here, just looking.
Just yeah. Yeah, pretty much. We've places you're like, yes, this could be me.
So
that was my.
So
high
they
school.
were confused by you, but did they give you a hard time?
A lot of them.
I mean,
did.
there's always some kind of bullying, but
yeah, they
was
did.
it bad for you because of that, or did that kind of?
I think this is where I started doing stand-up, was actually at that high school.
And here in this field.
And right here, this is where we did it.
Yeah.
What happened was we set up a couple of tents. And
what is that? That looks like a horse.
Oh, it is. There was a horse thing
yeah,
by the school, an equestrian type deal.
Do you want to walk along here and talk about school, or do you want to go back to the other New Zealand?
We could go to. Well, if we're going down the performance.
This is a motorway, isn't it?
Oh no, this is like a parking lot.
All right.
This just ends up. You just go.
Well, let's
up
talk
here
about. We're on to comedy now.
So yeah, I started in New Zealand. I did it at that high school. A friend of mine dared me to do it, and we wrote a set at this fish and chips place up the road from here.
Yeah.
And then I did it, and then we went to. Then the first place I performed properly, like in a comedy club, is the Classic.
Oh yeah, which is on here, right? Should we look at that?
Yeah, let's take a look at the Classic. Where are we? There it is. So the Classic used to be a porno theater.
Oh yeah.
And then they turned it into a comedy club.
Yes.
Oh yes. Oh, they got to work on the bottom of the sea, and they got 2 venues now. So it's actually
looks like a classy old venue, man.
It's real nice.
It's got atmosphere inside.
Oh hell yeah! It's like
they're the best place at old buildings, man.
Like
you can't fake that kind of.
Yeah, that.
I don't know. I haven't seen it, but it looks like that type of.
I wonder if you can. Oh, maybe you can't go inside, but
No,
it's really like it's got that because I mean, it's not super high.
This is still in
ceilings.
Auckland, right?
This is still in Auckland, yeah. So the ceilings are fairly high, but it somehow works in that room because like when they fill it out, they pack it out, you get like 300 people in there, and then they have
on
like,
top of each other.
Oh yeah, pretty much.
So it fills out.
So oh yeah. People hanging off the walls and shit. It's crazy. And then they've got like a little balcony where you can like the VIP area where you can sit, and then they've got their other venue upstairs, which is much more compact, kind of what we're used to here performing in. But yeah, they were real nice, like a really nice place to start out in doing comedy. So there's the Classic, and then I never did it in Wellington, but there's places in Wellington too.
So when your friend dared you, you must have wanted to do it anyway, right?
Sort of.
Because otherwise you wouldn't have carried on.
That's true. Yeah. I was like,
kind of had no interest in it and gone, oh, well, he dared me. Well, I guess I'll do this for the rest of my life.
Yeah, no, that's a hell of a... Yeah, I'm just living off that one dare. No, I guess...
Was it the same kid that called you lame for drowning?
No.
I'll show you.
I'll show you.
I'll become a comedian.
I'll become a comedian. You're still lame. So that was a guy in Hong Kong. So this was a guy in New Zealand who dared me. And I guess I did. Because we listened to a lot of comedy, he and I. And we, when you're kids, you just do it back and forth to each other. And he's like, "Oh, you should just do it with your own stuff, though, not with somebody else's." Although, to be fair, I will confess this: I did at that high school also do a set where I lifted somebody else's set. It was a Seinfeld thing.
Oh, really?
But I think every young comic has done every.
You don't even know, you don't know
when you're like 15 or whatever. It's like you have no idea.
Yeah, of course.
And
you're not also at that time. You're not like. You don't have an eye to do it. You're doing it for your schoolmates, right? You're not thinking about like...
Yeah. You're not going like...
You're going to be like, oh, the copyright's going to be...
Yeah, like someone's going to come down and sue me. Like, no,
of
course. You're just a kid. You have no idea.
Exactly.
So, so that was the... And then I did it with that. And then, we started here. But you'd only get like once a month, maybe you'd get booked. Only because it was one of the only places. So it's not like here where every pub has a comedy room. When I was starting out, it was just the Classic. Yeah. That was just it. So, I just had to make do. But then again, I think maybe I just didn't know any other places. Because as I kept doing it, a few more places opened up. And then the comedy festival, when that happened, just like, just everywhere that's a venue, there's a place like down the road here, which was like a venue, like somewhere that you wouldn't even walk past to think of. Yeah, it's like next to that place. You're like, well, what is that? It's a venue.
So you did your first gig when you were 15.
Yeah.
Then how?
And then I sort of did it off and on at the Classic, and then me and two other friends would do the comedy festival.
All right.
And then...
But you weren't doing it regularly till you moved to London?
Yeah, not as regularly as... Yeah, like I do it like maybe 3 times a month.
All right, yeah.
And then when I moved here, it's like, oh, right, I can actually do it every night if I want to. Oh, there's the Sky Tower. Oh, it's so small.
And what else was going on in your life when you lived here? So you lived here from age 13
till 20.
All right.
This is...
So this is really your...
Yeah.
Coming of age years.
This is where... Oh, man, I remember I was... Whoa, okay, this is crazy now that we're looking at... Okay, look up at the movie poster. So this is a really weird cross-focal point. Not only did I go to the cinema a lot, I was an extra in the movie pad.
In that film?
In this film.
Oh, yeah, you were?
Yeah.
I saw that on your bio.
I was an extra in this film.
How weird is that?
This is really kind of blowing my mind.
Are you in this picture? Or?
I'm not in this picture, no. But if you watch the film, I am somewhat clear in the film. Like, I'm there for like 2 seconds.
And you're a pirate, right?
I'm a pirate, yeah.
I know this because I saw it on your bio.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, that's my claim to fame is... And I met Hugh Jackman.
Awesome.
He's
so
a
that's
nice
like
guy.
a proper acting job, man.
It's crazy. This is weird. That's so weird that these two have crossed. This dude just got out of prison, and I was down the steps here. And he just told me about like his life. Like I've stood there for about half an hour.
Your friend or just a random
Just some
dude?
Random guy. He's like, yeah, I just got out of prison. Just spread my father's ashes across the sea. I was like, why are you telling me this, man? Stop. This is really terrifying. And he had like the eye drop tattoo and everything. And I was like, that's real cool, man. It's weird when you're in that situation. You want to get out of there.
Yeah.
But you don't want to be rude.
Yeah.
Because if you're like, fuck off, get out of here, don't talk to me. Then it's like, this guy could kick off.
Yeah,
and then
you're held hostage.
Yeah, I'm like, I don't know what this guy's going to do. So you're just like, yep, real good. We filmed a sketch here once as well. Before our shows, we used to film sketches. and we filmed this sketch where it's a really weird kind of dark sketch. It was a guy like I don't even think it makes any sense now that I think about it, but the guy he's like, you know, playing guitar or something, and this guy just basically comes up to him and just stabs him. The running joke was the guy who stabs him is in like every sketch. He just like comes in and just stabs somebody and then leaves. It was a very poorly conceived joke, but we did it, and it was really busy. It was a really busy high street. I think somebody called the cops.
Oh, really?
And we left by that time, but they were like, somebody's like, what's going on? Somebody's getting stabbed. Stop it. And we're like,
that when the guy came up and went, oh yeah.
Oh yeah. It's like, oh,
I was
yeah.
in prison.
I'm in prison.
The old stabbing game.
The old stab, yeah. Oh, and you're filming it too. Good work, boys. Good bloody work. Oh man. Oh, I remember here as well. There's a big concert hall here on the corner up there, and I bought tickets to see Muse, but it was an 18 only gig, and I was 17 at the time. And my friends got in because they looked older and they didn't get ID'd, but they asked me, and I was like, oh man. So I had to like wait outside for 2 hours while they watched this concert.
Oh my God.
Like,
you didn't even go home.
I should have gone home.
Stuff like that's so heartbreaking when you're at this age. It's like, oh, that's annoying, but it's like you feel like it's not like you've been rejected from the gig. It's like you've been rejected from the whole.
From the whole, because all your friends are in there.
Yeah,
and you're
yeah,
like,
it's
oh
like-
man. Yeah, like now.
I used to hate that. Even now, I get like door stuff on venue, but weirdly, that feeling is still there.
Yeah.
I don't know, even now, when you see like a door staff, you still get a bit like,
you're like, oh no, they're gonna.
I hope they do that.
I hope I get in. Yeah.
There's like any situation like that, like security in an airport, you know you've done nothing wrong, but you're thinking,
You're like, oh, I hope the
there's
passport.
something sort of about a threshold that's kind of terrifying.
Well, it's
jamming, acceptance and rejection.
Well, yeah. Every time they put my passport on the reader, I'm like, have I paid off all of my debts? Is something gonna come up? They're gonna be like, no. They used to have this ad campaign in New Zealand. It's like the camera pans down the plane and it just stops on an empty seat. It's like, have you paid off all of your overdrafts and all of your debt? Because if you haven't, it could cost you your holiday. And
Really?
yeah, and
Why?
it's really.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I didn't know that. I was like, that used to terrify
That's bad
me.
news.
Yeah,
That's
I'm just
scaring
like,
me.
oh man, yeah. They don't care. They don't care about any of that stuff. Like as long as you live in the country and you have like, oh, JB Hi-Fi. Oh, this is Queen Street. So this is the main drag of Auckland City is Queen Street. And as what you're seeing now, this is as busy as it gets. When I was growing up, there used to be a lot of boy racers go down here at night.
Really?
So the cars with the lights underneath and the TV screens on the mud guards or whatever, you know, just those kind of cars. And yeah, sometimes they drag race up here, or they drag race. Oh no, maybe not so much up here, but I was briefly. Oh man, we were in a. As I remember, my friends were super into boy racing, and they'd buy these crappy Japanese cars and try to kit them out and stuff.
You never got into it?
No, not really. Like, it was never really... I tried to, but it was never really my scene. It never really... And also, it's potentially super dangerous. Because you're driving, you know, like, down streets like this, drag racing, you know, one car crash, it's all over. Yeah, man, it was nuts. And they all wanted to be... I think for a brief moment, I thought that was my... You know, when you're a kid, you're growing up. That was one of the things, yeah, like you said, is like the groups that you kind of try to fit into. And that was one I thought, oh, well, maybe this is my jam. Maybe I'm in the boy racer thing. And I think we were in a car chase once. And what happened was we're just driving around and we're just eating chips out of a, you know, thing. And this guy came up to us, one of the kind of high school kids. And he wasn't a bully, but he was like kind of in that weird middle ground. Like, I guess it was such a weird tiered system. I don't know if you had this in your high school. So you had like the super popular kids and then the sort of sporty kids that were at the same level, but the sporty kids weren't necessarily dicks. They were kind of okay. Then you had like that big gray area where kind of everyone fit in. And then you had like, I guess, the lower rungs of that. But then the kids at the top, the kind of bullies, they were the ones who were doing the drugs and all that sort of stuff.
Yeah.
And we'd somehow come across some of those guys that were sort of in the topper echelons, the higher echelons of that. And he's like, oh, hey, what are you guys doing? We're like, oh, we're just driving around. He's like, oh, give us a chip. We're like, nah. He's like, oh, give us a chip, bro. Fucking give us our chip. And he got a chip, and then he threw it in my friend's face. And then he punched my friend in the face, and we just drove off. And they jumped in their car, and they chased us around. I can show you the area, actually, where they chased us. And
Around here.
it wasn't around here actually. It was more in the kind of closer to where my house was. But it was such a weird kind of chase because they like, I don't know, it was kind of low speed but kind of high speed at the same time. It was really strange. Like, we tried to do that movie thing.
The speed was low but the emotions
were high. Exactly. That's it.
That'd be the tagline.
Low speed, high emotion. We tried that thing that you do in the movies where you drive down a lane and stop and switch the lights off. That totally doesn't work. That does not work.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking about that. That's one of the worst things you can do.
It doesn't work.
And you're like, where are the guys with those crates walking by?
Yeah. Or a
pane of glass.
Or a pane of glass, or a fruit stall we can crash into. It totally doesn't work. I can, yeah.
What about a woman with a pram? Does that
well,
work?
yeah, that'll work. As long as the pram is full of like cans
Yeah,
or something. So that was how it ended. We drove up a road. I'm like, turn the lights off. And in my head, I'm like, this is totally gonna work. And then we just...
You have to say hit the lights.
Yeah. Don't turn...
You can't just... That's why you went wrong then. You said turn off the lights.
I should have said...
You need to say hit the lights. And then you would have been fine.
And we stopped, and they drove past. And then they're like, there's only one other road they would have gone down. It's this one. So they reversed, and it ended with them kind of just like... we kind of hashed it out. We talked it out. The funny thing about fights is that, and I'm going to quote Fight Club from this, is like, most people will avoid a fight at all costs. Even people who want to start fights. Because once it's about drawing first blood. If you draw first blood, most fights are usually over by that time. Like, I'm talking in a regular kind of day-to-day situation. Most people, it's like someone gets punched, maybe there'll be a bit of a scuffle, and then it's usually over. But we sort of all hash it out because it's like, well, okay, we've chased you guys and whatever. I think we even forgot why they were doing it in the first place.
That's it. When you're that age, it's just something to do. You're just bored. You just want to
if anything,
throw your weight around. Do you know what I mean? It's
exactly.
As you say, it's like not.
If anything, it's like it almost felt like they're like, well, thanks for keeping us occupied for 20 minutes. That was pretty cool. It could be worse. We could be smoking crack. So thanks a lot. So that was odd. Yeah. Oh, this is the ferry to Waiheke, where my brother used to live.
Can we jump on it?
Yeah, we could jump on it.
Oh, it's gone. Oh, well.
well.
I got an idea. Why don't we go to London?
Yeah, let's go to London, absolutely.
I think we're ready to go to London. Just going to check my emails for that.
Yeah, that's cool. Don't worry about it.
So where's London? That was London. So let's talk about Angel. Like, this is
absolutely. So
Angel
this
comedy,
is the
right?
Camden Head in Angel, yeah.
Maybe you could, for people that don't know, explain to them what.
So this is a club, I guess it was started about maybe 6-7 years ago by Barry Ferns, Sarah Pierce, my girlfriend, it wasn't my girlfriend at the time, Katerina Vrana, and Linus Lee. And they started it basically a room above a pub. And yeah, they did it. I think it was Thursdays were the first night. And then I think it went to Sunday. No, I think it was Thursday, then Friday and Saturday, and then it went to Sunday, and then it went to 5 days. And that's when I joined, and that was about 4 years ago. And then it went to 7 days a week. And then after that, we went and got the Bill Murray, which we'll talk about in a minute. But it started out kind of 1 day a week, and then 3 days a week, and then 5, and then 7. Which was probably the smart way to do it, because I know some people who have started comedy clubs and have just gone, let's go 7 days. It's like, that's a big ask, man. Like 7 days is hard, and there's plenty of us doing it and working on it. The team's expanded now, and we have 2
You've
venues.
got like so many helpers at that place.
So many.
Every time I go there, I'm like,
who are these people?
people?
Yeah. But it's like you need a small army of people to do it. And so the Camden Head is just. There are 2 Camden Heads. There's one in Camden and there's this one. And they just found this place and just did it. But this place is notorious for running comedy shows. Yeah,
there's been gigs there ages before you guys did it.
Yeah. And that was when, like there's always been something running in that room for years. Actually, let's go inside.
We can go inside, yeah.
Because so this is the room. There's Barry there on the wall, actually. Let's show him Barry. There's Barry on the wall there.
Mr. Barry.
There he is, Mr. Ferns himself. And... So this is the comedy room itself. So there's the stage, but the stage used to be in that corner.
Oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah, so you've done gigs when it was in that corner.
Yeah, really early on.
Way back in the day, it was in that corner, and
it's way better like this.
It's so
much better.
And I remember doing gigs in there. Oh man, I only did about 2 or 3 in there, but then all the chairs were like piled up in the back, so they'd only put out like 10 chairs.
Yeah.
And they'd pile up the rest of them instead of sort of setting them out. But yeah, there was always something running here. There you go.
Angel Comedy.
At Angel Comedy. Little bit of a Twitter push there. But yeah, this was sort of I guess what's really lovely about it is it's that kind of homegrown feel, kind of grassroots feel of the gig.
I think Louis C.K. played here the other week.
He did. Yes, he did.
Which is mental. That is
he just
testament to what you guys have done, isn't it? That someone like that would seek out.
He just goes,
Angel.
I'm just gonna pop in. What's running today? I'm just gonna drop in, and it was nuts.
That's
do you know
so
Do you know how the story goes? How it went?
A few people have explained, but maybe you should explain it again.
Sam Russell, who was hosting, was on stage, and he was closing the show up. And outside, one of our helpers, James, was just standing outside waiting for the show to close. And Louis walks up. He goes, yeah, can I get on?
So there was no warning.
There was no warning. He just walks up.
Because I thought he had text Barry or something, or an agent had text Barry.
He just walks up. He goes, can I get on?
So he just turned up without
just
totally unannounced.
Totally unannounced. James goes, okay. He walks up to the stage and he talks to.
How did James react?
James is a cool guy. James is ice cold, man. He was just like, yeah, sure thing. He didn't go like, what?
But this is what he told you, though.
Well,
right. I could imagine. I could believe it, yeah.
So he was just so cool about it. And he goes in, he goes up to Sam, he goes, we've got one more act. And Sam's like, well, what? He's like, we've got one more act. He goes, all right, okay, ladies and gentlemen, we've got one more act, apparently, so we'll bring on your final act. Everyone's like, oh, okay, all right.
Did he bring him up around the fire escape?
No, he came up the front way, so he came up by the speakers there like that. He walked up, and Sam was just like, what? He just like, what? And then like the whole audience just like, holy shit, phones out, taking photos.
Were you there?
So I came by. So what happened was Sam phoned me after this. So James told me the story, how the story went. Sam phoned me when he went on stage and went, Louis C.K.'s on stage. And I first thing I said was, get the fuck out of here. That's no way. That's ridiculous. And I was at the Bill Murray at the time, around the corner. And I was like, I'm going to go see. So I ran over. And yeah, there he was. I came up the front way. So I came up to these doors.
Yeah.
And I was like, I was like, come on now. I looked through and I was like, oh, it's totally him. And then I ran around to the fire escape and watched the rest of the show from there.
Awesome.
It was
Was he just doing loads of new stuff?
Yeah, he was doing a lot of new stuff. It was, fantastic. So great to watch someone like that kind of just show up and do that stuff. It was nuts, man.
That's great, man. Let's walk. You mentioned the Bill Murray there.
Oh, yeah, let's walk through. There. So we'll go.
Tell us the story of how that
came about. Should we go? Should we go past the Camden Head? Yeah, we'll go.
Yeah. You direct me which way to go.
Because
although I do the Bill Murray all the time, I don't know if I walk the best way.
Oh, okay.
So maybe this could be an opportunity for me
for you to I can show you the.
For someone who does this project, I actually have a terrible sense of direction.
Really? Come on now.
No, I do. So I'll go the first way I go to somewhere.
Yeah, will be
that's the way I'll go forever.
Forever. Okay.
And I'll even know. There's probably a quicker way to go here, but I'm like, I'm not going to take any chances.
You're not going to.
I'll just do I'll just make the same mistake
again and again and again. That's what they say.
That's how I live my life.
It's just the same over and over.
But is it a mistake if I enjoy it?
No. That's. Do you go down? You go down this way.
I don't know. I think I go down this way. Yeah.
Oh, so you go down this way?
I think. Do I?
I go down this way.
All right, no, this is the right way. All right, ignore what I'm saying. Anyway, so let's go to the pub.
So we'll go to the pub.
That's the only reason I do this show. Is to learn
where
directions,
where I can find people's houses, and So we go. This is the way I go as well.
Okay, good.
So the Bill Murray, we essentially just kind of. So it used to be a pub called the Mucky Pup, which was a rock bar, which boasted the best jukebox, and then it's left here, isn't it? Up here. Which boasted the best jukebox in London. And it was a pretty good jukebox, to be fair. And I wonder
there we go.
If we're... Oh, this is before...
Is it up to date? Yeah.
This is before everything. This is during
this is before you moved in.
Yeah, this is... Oh, this was during. So this was before all of the renovation. This looks so different now. So we've got murals on the wall of we've got Mr. Bean, we've got Victoria Wood, and we don't have that anymore.
Sometimes if you go to a different angle, it shows you. There we go.
Oh, this is when it was the Mucky Pup.
That's the Mucky Pup.
So this is when it was the Mucky Pup.
Now
we're going back in time.
So that's the Mucky Pup.
But
none of these are pictures of it.
None of these are.
But anyway.
So we were still running it then, but
no, comedy. So you were having shows at this.
We were having shows there. So we did a few gigs at the Mucky Pup, because he was getting rid of it. He wasn't going to have the pub anymore.
Yeah.
So we did a few test gigs there, and it worked out. It was real nice. You know, we got crowds down there, and we just thought like, well, he's selling it, we can acquire it. Let's do it. Let's go for it. So we picked it up and just rolled with it. Just went to town on it. And again, that's all those helpers and all the people we built up over the years that kind of came down. And I guess it's a community thing. Going back to that grassroots feeling of, you know, it's interesting, the comedy world, I'd say now, because there's so much going on. There's so many gigs, firstly, but there's so many ways people can consume comedy and go out and look at stuff and watch things. And I think not what's missing, but I feel like why you got into it, why I got into it, was the community thing. It's like, you know, we're all in the same boat. We're all this kind of you know, on the fringes of normal society, in the sense that we're doing something that most people wouldn't consider doing. And having that come together, I've always felt was one of my favorite parts of it, was that we're all kind of doing the same thing. We're on the same boat. And I feel that's kind of what Angel, at least in my opinion, is trying to achieve, or does achieve, is that thing of like, hey, we're all, you know, we're on the the same side here.
Yeah. It's definitely got like a youth club type of vibe.
Yeah, it
In
feels
a
like
good way.
that.
That's
Yeah. I know what you mean. Yeah.
Like, but that's what Barry wanted, right? Like,
Yeah.
people can just like hang out there.
Yeah, and come down and, you know, and do what you want there. It's everyone's space. That's the kind of the purpose of it, I guess. It's like, if you want to put on a show there, you know, you don't have to pay however much it pays to do the Leicester Square. You can, you know, come down to us. We can put it on, and yeah, it's a space for people who are not all the way at the top, or, you know, wherever you are in the community, you're welcome to come down and do it. So I think everywhere, every kind of line of work, I feel, would benefit from that. A kind of place where, you know, maybe more so creatively. I think it works more in the creative industry, where you've got that place where you can, you know, kind of, I guess, yeah, have a community-led thing and be, what's the word I'm looking for? I guess free to not have to worry about like, oh man, I've got to impress these guys or whatever.
Yeah.
You can put on a show.
Place to experiment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So yeah, this is, and although the Mucky Pup was, when it was the Mucky Pup, was quite an interesting experience. I don't know if you'd ever been to it.
I didn't know. It looked pretty rough around the edges there.
Well, it's funny that, like, so when I first came to the UK, the whole thing of, because in New Zealand, the pub culture is very different, in that pubs are not really walking distance.
Yeah.
So that house that I showed you where we lived, and we were on our way to Browns Bay, like, that's like maybe a 4-minute drive. And I could walk there, but that's, you know, maybe like 15 minutes or so. Yeah. But most people don't, because most people don't live that close to the pubs.
You drive to the pub. That doesn't make any sense, though.
A lot of people do.
Or do you just drink and drive a lot?
People did, yeah. A lot of people. I knew a lot of people that did, and I'm not going to name names, but they were. It was pretty dangerous. And I worked in this pub. I think it was the British Isles, which is not the pub that you've got lined up, but it was. And yeah, like, people would just, you know, they'd go there and have a couple of drinks and then go home. But that's the kind of the drinking culture there. It's like, it's weirdly different.
So I thought they were big drinkers, man.
They are big drinkers. They're huge drinkers.
Yeah. So when you say have a couple of drinks, you mean...
So like, oh yeah, but mostly I think a lot of people were quite responsible. Most of them, like at least 90% of the clientele I had were responsible.
Yeah.
There were a couple of, like, the only people who do it are, and it's the same here, I think, as well, is like people who have done it, who are quite old and have done it for years. They're like, nah, I've done it for years, mate. Nah, don't worry about it. They've done it for 10 years, and it's like, well. And they've strangely, like, somehow managed to make it work for them. And you're like, that, I mean, I don't understand that logic, but if that's, as long as you're not killing people, fine. But it's a real, what's the word? You're walking a real fine tightrope when you're like, listen, I can't let you go home. And then someone starts abusing and you're like, all right, fine, go home. You're like, all right. Or you try to get them out of it.
So we got a Kiwi pub on here, haven't we?
Oh yeah, so this is that's the British. No, this is Speaker's
Corner. So back in New Zealand now. So what happened here?
So this was one of the first jobs I had, and it was a pretty grim pub. So this was my first kind of brush with British pub culture / British pubs, I guess.
Hang on, but this is in New Zealand, though.
This is in New Zealand,
yes.
It's
an expat pub.
It's an expat pub run by British people. So it had everything I'd had growing up understanding the UK. Like there's a little barrel
came from
this and like the internet. So I was like, growing up on sort of a lot of TV shows. So that little, even that barrel, that's a Boddington's barrel.
Oh yeah.
So like when I was growing up, like I seem to remember getting a lot of magazines from the UK, and they'd have like adverts for like Boddingtons and stuff, and those were things that I was like, in my head I was like, yeah, that's the kind of the upper that's the top draw stuff. I had Boddingtons when I came here. Christ, that is I hate it. I think it's a terrible lager. I don't like it at all. It's a bitter. So
it's not a lager,
but I don't like it anyway. So this pub, and it was just quite grim. I just remember working there and just not really being happy when I worked there. It was one of the places that I definitely felt like we'd go there.
It doesn't look like it's got a good vibe about it.
Oh no, it's and I also
it looks pretty grim.
I got fired from there.
I don't like these those.
Oh, that's awful.
That's
Yeah. That's no good. That's no good up there. Ugh. I got fired from there. Not even in a classy way. Like they just stopped putting me on the rota.
Yeah.
So I walked in and I was like, "Am I not?" They're like,
they let you go.
Yeah, they let me, and it's like, have the balls to like say it's not working out instead of. And I guess there was a guy who used to work with, a chef who used to work with there, who because I worked in the kitchen there briefly as well, and that was pretty grim. There was someone I worked with who was actually really cool. This woman I worked with she was really cool, and she taught me a lot about cooking and kind of just like that thing of like just getting on with it. She was from New Zealand, but she had that kind of mentality of like just get your head down, just do it. And it was I coupled with, at the time I was seeing this girl. It was my first girlfriend at the time, and that was a rough relationship. And so it was that, and then kind of getting fired from there, and then also the fact that it was a grim place, and I was just like, this just isn't really working out. So the chef I worked with, yeah, he burned the candle.
Look at this scene, we'll think about it.
There we go.
What happened?
This is always nice, having that look. Oh, and this was the place that people would park up, and this was the view from the pub, as you'd see this, and some of them would tell me like, well, when I park up, I want my drink poured and waiting for me when I get in, and I'm like, man, you gotta get over yourself, man. Like,
oh my god,
he's just like, it's like.
And why didn't they like you? Were you not, because you weren't playing by their rules?
I think so. I was just a renegade, man. It's so weird.
It seems, man, if you have the sort of customers that are going to do that,
then I'm just like. Yeah. But every I
made the drink when I want to make it. I'm Masud Milas.
I'm Masud Milas. Yeah, that's what I'd say, and they're like, well, no, and I'm like, all right then, okay, fine, I'll play by the rules. And they, it was just, and it was. I think it was one of the first jobs that I realized that it's sort of like that thing where no matter what you do, someone somewhere is going to have a problem with what you're doing, and the more okay you are with that, then the more relaxed you are in that workplace, and the less likely you are to try and be over eager to try and please everybody, and just try to do your job, because like. We've all worked in jobs where like, people steal from work or just like get away with stuff, and it's because I don't know, it's like they don't really care. They're not like kind of seeking approval, because the second once you start doing that, then it backfires on you, and it can, like, I've had so many jobs where I've been like, oh no, I've got to make sure, it's okay,
and you end up doing it worse.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Because, and then also like,
the same as stand-up, man. It's exactly the same. I mean,
you just have to go like, look, this is what I'm doing. You like it, great. If you don't, that's your problem. But if you're like, please like me, then people are like,
I think that's just life. Generally,
It's I learned that. So this was the place where I learned that lesson, and then I forgot that lesson, and then learned it again at the Domino's pizza place that I worked at,
which is also
on here.
So how were you in work generally? So you say,
I would always try and be as, kind of like good to work with and be around, and try to do my job as best I could. But it's like this place. Oh man! So I was a delivery driver. Oh, this place was depressing as hell.
Is this still in Auckland?
This is still in Auckland. So this is a place called Beach Haven, which is a very weird part of town, because it's sort of, I don't know, I can't really describe it. Like a lot of, there's a lot of well-to-do people there, but then there's some people that aren't. I remember there's a lot of people that try to scam the system as well with pizza delivery. It's funny, it's something you don't think about when you work there, or when you're ordering pizza. But there's a lot of people who just like call up, have a bite of the pizza. When you get back to the restaurant, they're like, "Yeah, this isn't the pizza I ordered." You're like, "Dude, I was there," and like you're just like, why do people bother with such petty things?
So they can just get
so they can get their refund or get their money back or get two pizzas.
Yeah.
It's like, well, you can't, because we can't take the old pizza back because they've eaten it, so we have to deliver another one to them. It's like, yeah, just buy two pizzas, man. That's why we have the deals. It's like,
even as you're saying that, you're making me think actually it's quite a good idea.
It's not bad actually. To be fair,
I wish I didn't have that knowledge.
So, if you want to scam the system, okay, here's what you do. Most pizza places or most food places that run food that they have to get rid of at the end of the day, and this isn't a scam. This is kind of like one of those well-known secrets. Just show up at the end of the day when they're closing, because they have to get rid of it. So like sushi places do it a lot. Where they'll either sell at half price. Some of them give it away. I don't think it's Wasabi. It's another one of the chains. They'll just give it away. I think at Domino's, that was the case. Like every night we'd have about at least 3 or 4 pizzas sitting on top of the oven that were not claimed, delivered, refunded, whatever.
But when's the end of the night? Well, at 2 a.m. or something?
There was like midnight. Yeah. So then, and we'd either take them home or if someone came in, I remember just giving them away. I'm like, take this. I don't fucking want it. Because what am I going to do with it? I've eaten pizza all day. And then you start getting creative. That was fun. We'd start getting creative with the pizzas as well. We'd start like doing our own things with them. They had a thing called like a puff pastry pizza. Where they made pizza with puff pastry, which sounds terrible, but is actually amazing. And yeah, I remember that would be the thing. I'd always we got these like chicken nugget things. We'd wrap them up in the puff pastry and chuck them through the oven. But then here's what annoyed me about this place.
Is that how they end up with those weird pizzas? Like,
oh yeah, they
the
just
stuffed crust, was that just an experiment?
People just went like, yeah, let's just stuff some cheese in there, man. Get some cheese in there.
And
maybe
then
hot
like,
dogs.
CEO comes in here. What are you boys doing?
But this is amazing.
Who is this kid?
Yeah, you're going straight to the top. Get straight to the top.
That was you.
That was me. I was the guy.
So I cut you off there. What are you going to say?
Yeah, the something that annoyed me about working in a lot of these jobs was this idea that, and maybe you had this if you've worked in minimum wage jobs, is that at one point I somehow managed to climb the ranks of the person who dealt with money when you're closing up. I remember once, I can't remember which job it was exactly, but it was one job where one of the managers or the owners turned to me and went, yeah, I know this is, you're dealing with a lot of money here. I know it's tempting, but, don't steal, essentially. And I was like, okay, hang on a second. Firstly, if I were to steal from you, I wouldn't steal this. Like, I would probably get a dump truck. I'd come in here and I'd steal this $20,000 oven. And then, like, maybe I can't sell it on the black market. But I would, like, if someone, this is what my mom always used to say. She's like, if you're going to rob someone, like, rob them blind. Like, turn them right over.
Yeah,
don't.
Because it's the same.
Yeah, exactly.
It's the same.
Yeah. Don't bother with, like, just skim a little off the top. It's like, nah. I'm going to call a bunch of guys.
I love how your mum actually recommended
that's what she said. She's like,
no, good point. Yeah, logically, it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, it's like, you're going to come to an empty lot. You're going to be lucky if, like, I'll take the building if I have to. Yeah. I'll get a Chinook over here and we'll lift it all up. I'm not going to bother with any of that stuff. So, yeah, that always used to bug me a lot. It's just like...
The point is, it doesn't... Because there's no one who's planning to do that, and then someone says, "Don't do that." All right,
yeah.
Well, if you're going to do it, you're going to do it.
You're gonna, yeah. Either way, you can't. You can't stop. You can't stop this.
Did you ever nick anything?
My thievery days were only when I was a child.
Yeah.
And I
Did
learned.
You feel
quick.
guilty about it? I only ever smalled. I think I stole like tiny things.
Yeah, it was sweets. We stole.
And
sweets.
but I felt so guilty about it.
Well, it was strange. At the time, I didn't, and then when we went to the police,
I felt so actually, I was one of those kids that actually I was naughty in some ways, but for some reason, like stealing just seemed, because I think with so many other things there was like a grey area, but that's like
that's good though.
That's bad.
That's a good way to learn.
Almost like a warrior kind of brain. Do you know what I mean? It's more like I would.
That's good though. I think that's good. Like I personally think the other way of like because I could show you the place in Lamma actually. Where we stole from the shop. So there were these two stores that were opposite each other, and we stole from one. And how we got caught
back in Lamma,
back on Lamma Island. So we might have to jump around on the island to.
It's nowhere near that, is it?
No.
Shall I go map zone?
We'll go map zone, and I'll show you on the. Oh wait, we're near West Island School. Let's go back to Lamma
Tell me
Island.
where to go. Do you want to take?
Oh, here we'll go
the
to
roads?
we'll
It's
go
not
to.
often I let other people. Touch
Oh
the
really?
house.
Oh wow. How do we? Oh, here we go. So where's Llama again? It's this one. So we'll go. How do we? Oh yeah, there we go. We'll do that. Okay. Right. Let's zoom out a touch. Okay, Hengqingye Beach. Okay, let's take our little guy. Let's put him here. Where are we? We are. Oh yeah, this is close to one of my houses in the house we lived at in Hong Kong, I think. Yes, it is. If we go down this way.
Down here.
Oh no, not this way. This way. I remember that particular block of concrete. This is weird.
Right, you can give it back now.
I'll give it back now. Yeah, there we go. I'll take over now.
So where?
I think we're further.
I can't drive in real life. So
Really?
I'll make up for this.
Wait. Have you taken your test?
No.
Oh, okay.
I always thought I'd need to do it to do comedy. And I'm still considering it, but then I've done it for a
I know
while
where we
without
are.
driving.
We're a little too far. Turn around. We'll go back to where those people are, and then we have to take a right up there.
Yes, yes. I just never, because I grew up in London, so
yeah, I totally
never sort of
get that.
learned, and now it's like
I get it.
I probably will learn.
It's not something that I think. Oh, we're coming up right up to one of my favorite places, which is Granny Chan's shop, which was a feature.
Granny Chan's.
Yeah, which is a feature in my last show.
Old Granny Chan's.
So it's there. There it is. We're here. We're at Granny Chan's. So this is the classic stoop place. So we can probably stand in front of it, I reckon. That would be so sweet if we could. It's a shame it's closed. So this is Manloon. So this is where I would go to buy things for my mom. They had this awful little toilet section back here. They've actually made a toilet out of it. It used to just be like a bit of wall, and then like the river, like a little stream, and you just. But yeah, this is the classic stoop where all these guys would sit and just drink all day. But this is the shop that I would go to for my mom, and the old woman there used to cheat me out of money. So she'd be sat in the back of the store, like eating like a whole fish, and I'd go there and she'd cheat me out of change because I was a child. I had no idea. And then I'd go back home and my mom would be like, "What are you doing? She's cheating me out of change."
So low.
And then I'd come back and she'd like bring out an abacus and be like, "No." And I'm like, "I don't know what an abacus is." So this is
like
meaningless.
she's trying to show you.
She's trying to show me, and I'm
oh my
like,
God.
A for effort on that.
Yeah.
But this could be like some sort of Chinese game or something that I have no idea about. Like she could have literally got out like that solitaire game with all the marbles and been like, "This is the change," and I would have been like, seems legit. She's on it. So this was that. But we'll go back into the main village and I'll show you the store.
How do I go?
We'll jump out onto the little map thing and we'll go. So let's zoom out a touch. Let's move back up this way. Probably, I'd say, actually one ferry pier. Let's go here. Oh wait.
Show me again.
We'll move down a touch. Here. We'll go here.
There.
No, just Sauki. So yeah, there. So we are. Where are we? Just turn around a touch. Oh, the Land Come See restaurant. Yes, I know where we are. Yeah, so this is that's where the Tushka's, the Indian place, used to be. My mom. So this is an interesting place. So my mom ran an African store, like an African goods store. So like she'd sell like bags and belts and clothes and stuff. And this is the store. This is where that store used to be. Oh. And I used to help her run it when I was a kid. So I'd help her open it up and stuff. And then like what's really crazy is like all these celebrities came down there. Like they'd come to the island. So like Andre Agassi, the tennis player, came down and bought something for my mom. It was nuts.
What did he buy?
I think he bought a giraffe, like a kind of one of those tall giraffe things. Yeah. But yeah, it was nuts. Like all sorts of people would come through. So yeah, so she had this store. It's a food. Oh man, they sell fish balls. $10. That's about 10p, I would say.
Is that like a deep fried thing?
Sort of. I think they boil them. But yeah, they're just like fish.
That's making me hungry now.
Oh, fish balls are the best. And we'd put this really lovely like spicy sauce on them. They'd come on a stick. Yeah, like, and food in Hong Kong is so cheap. Like, you could walk down to this place and just buy all this stuff for like, if you had 10 quid, yeah, it'd be about $100. Yeah, it's about £1. Yeah. £1 for fish balls.
Sweet. So where was this shop you used to?
So this was the hardware store. It's a little. Let's see if we can stand. It's directly between these two. This is where it was. So this used to be something else. This used to be like a store that had like sold like nuts and all sorts of stuff, legumes, all of those things. Yeah. And this was just like another general store. Or is this the? Wait a sec. Is that the shop?
It's open. That looks like a general.
Oh no, it wasn't this shop, but it was a general
shop like that,
like this. There wasn't this in the middle. The counter was.
Imagine it was like this.
The counter was at the back, and they had.
Where would you go in and nick?
So what would happen was, see, like on the counter here, you've got the umbrellas and all this stuff. So the counter, imagine the counter's at the back with a similar setup. So we'd be standing in front of the counter and we'd just put our hands there and just take whatever was there, and it was usually candy. But the stupid thing was, there was the shop, as I showed you, that was directly opposite it. And what's their view for 7 hours a day, every day? The shop in front of them. So that's how we got caught. We were just standing there, and then we just heard, "Hey!" And we're like, "Oh shit!" So then we booked it. We ran, and then we got caught. But yeah, it was because obviously the person opposite the store,
dogged you in,
the rival dog.
Imagine if they're such rivals. He was like,
yeah, he's like,
just watching,
just waiting for his
seeing those
time.
profits go down.
Yeah, he's waiting, and then
20p at a time.
Just, but yeah, he. So that's how we got caught. But yeah, that was. Yeah, we used to do all sorts of things. Oh, and then there was this. We had a phase of pellet guns, little BB pellet guns, and we had like this weird like urban war around the corner here, like just us shooting each other on this street corner. So this used to be this weird little restaurant called Dino's, it was so weird. So
down at Dino's Bar and Grill.
Dino's Bar and Grill. So it was like the bar was in the middle, and you sat all the way around the outside like that. And yeah, we just shot each other around here. We were just running around, firing pellet guns at each other. Tourists are walking past. We're hitting them. Who are these dudes? Hey, that's classic.
Swearing at the Google.
That is,
and their faces aren't blurred out. That's weird. That's what happens if you swear at the camera.
Oh, right. Oh.
They leave your identity on.
They're like, yeah,
that's the first time I've ever seen that. People's faces not blurred out.
Do I know that guy? No, I don't. He looks like the guy looks like Richard Jenkins. That guy from.
Kind of creepy as fuck.
Yeah, they look terrifying.
I think we should probably wrap it up shortly.
Okay, cool.
Do you want to? Maybe we'll go to London where you're living now.
Yeah, we'll absolutely.
And then we can end it by talking about. So this is where you live now.
Yeah.
In Stockwell, right?
In Stockwell, yeah.
Down south.
Down south. It's nice, man. It's a nice part. So this is what I love about this. This is my prerequisite for every flat I live in. If we turn to our right, 24-hour off license, chicken shop.
So Morley's. That's the.
Oh yeah,
that's
that's. I love that. It's like that's the.
Everyone loves Morley's.
Everyone loves Morley's. Yeah, no, this is lovely. When I first lived here, I didn't. So I moved here with Sarah, and this bar on the corner, the Phoenix, used to be something else. And I used to work for somebody as a driver, and they used to have this astronaut like outfit on top of the.
I think I remember
bar.
that.
Yeah,
that sounds.
And every time I drive, when we were driving back, that was my landmark to remember how we were getting home. So I'd always be like, there he is. There's Major Tom. And then I'd drive home. And then when it was gone, I was like, oh, man, that sucks. I reckon they've still got it. They've got to have it. I mean, you can't just... Or at least the people who owned the thing before have, like, taken it. But yeah, this is the hood now. It's... See, when we moved here first, so we're down the road from Clapham. And Clapham's nice, but... It's super, super gentrified. And, like, the gentrification line, I think, like, it was there where that bus is, and now it's moved way past that. Yeah. And, like, there's all these new developments going up, and it's just getting super pricey around here. Still nice, though. It's a nice part of town to live in. it's that thing where it's like it's just close to transport. I need to be close to transport. There was funnily enough, there was a Google car passing as I was walking to the tube today. So maybe the next time they upload this, I might have my own cameo, and I'll check it out. That's how you know you've made it, when you've made it onto Google Calendar.
Yeah. It's a lovely day.
It's a nice day.
So have you got any final thoughts?
Like
if you could go back, this is quite a fun way to.
If I could
round
go
off.
back,
If you could go back to this guy, you remember him? If you could tell like the young Masud.
Yeah.
Like if you could go back there now and give him some advice.
What
would you say?
I'd say probably like maybe I think I did enjoy myself a lot as a kid. Sometimes yeah, I'd say probably do the same things you did. Don't steal. I'd say don't steal probably, because you're gonna get caught. And I'd say I'd say it's good that you got all this out early. Got all the kind of silly being a kid, as kids do. Because I would hate to think, if I didn't, what I would be like now. Like if I was just this kind of just horrible reprobate. And like also I think that kind of the being grateful for living in Lamma, something like that, because of that multicultural thing. It'll do you in good stead later in life. Because I think, I think that's something that everyone should do as well. It's like live somewhere where you're potentially a minority of sorts, as much as you can. I mean, it's hard now because the whole world is changing. Like, I mean, when we went to Thailand last year, it was like the one place we went to was somewhat untouched, as far as you can get from that, in the modern world. And you go. I think you're just a better person if you live somewhere where you have to kind of figure out how other people like get on with things. Because I think if you get trapped in that world where you're like, no, I'm pretty sure I'm fine, everything's coming up me, you're like, yeah, no, that's not how the world works, man. Yeah, travel on a meat boat to school. That's my final thought. Go on a meat boat to school, and that'll change your life.
Awesome. I think that would be a great place to end it.
Thanks, man.
So now we just zoom out, if it will let me. Hang on.
Oh,
it's fucking me over now. Hang on. We'll try and zoom out from somewhere else.
Here we go.
There we go, mate. Up in the sky. So
There
that's it. That's the show. I've been Dave Green. This has been Dave Green's Street View Show. He's been Masud Milas. Subscribe to us on YouTube.
Yes.
And I'll see you again next time. Cheers, guys.
Cheers.